Sanchez worked so hard to pass, and that I signed into law the other week. A new hospital will be built at Camp Pendleton that will give our servicemen and women the care. Over in Inglewood, the police department's planning to expand its staff by 30 people. Orange County is hoping to add a new lane on SR 91. Creating about 2,000 jobs and easing congestion in the process. These are just a few of the 396,000 jobs we will create or save in California, and the 3.5 million jobs we will create or save across America over the next 2 years. We are also taking unprecedented steps to unlock our frozen credit markets so families can get the loans they need to buy a home or a car. And businesses can pay for inventory or make payroll. That's why earlier this week we took a sweeping step to free up loans for entrepreneurs, helping them start and grow the small businesses that employ half of our private sector workers. That's why we're creating a fund that will help support up to $1 trillion in loans, including auto loans and college loans. Plan that will help responsible homeowners save money by refinancing their mortgage loans. None of this will make any difference, however, unless we strengthen our economy over the long term. Unless we put our economy on a firmer footing by rebuilding its foundation. And that's exactly the purpose of the budget I'm submitting to Congress. It's a budget that makes hard choices about where to save and where to spend. Because of the massive deficit we inherited and the costs of this financial crisis, we are going through our books line by line so we can cut our deficit in half by the end of my first term and reduce it by What we will not cut are investments that will lead to real growth and real prosperity. Investments that will make a difference in the lives of this generation and future generations. Let me give you some examples. Because of spiraling healthcare costs that are crushing our families, dragging down our entire economy, and represent one of the fastest growing parts of our federal and state budgets, we've made a historic commitment to healthcare reform in this budget. Reform that brings us closer to the day when healthcare is affordable and accessible for every single American. Because we know that countries that out-educate us today will out-compete us tomorrow. This budget invests in a complete and competitive education for every American, in early childhood education programs that work, in high standards and accountability in our schools, in finally putting the dream of a college degree or technical training within reach for anyone who wants it. Because we know that enhancing America's competitiveness will also require reducing our dependence on foreign oil and building a clean energy economy. This budget will spark the transformation we need to create green jobs and launch renewable energy companies right here in California. It makes clean energy the profitable kind of energy. It invests in technologies like wind power and solar power, fuel-efficient cars and trucks powered by batteries like the ones I'll be seeing in Rosemead tomorrow, all of which will also help combat climate change. Because the weather's already nice in Orange County. We don't want it to get warmer. What this budget does. Now, here's what the budget does not do. I love you back. than $250,000 a year by a single dime. In fact, 95% of all working families will receive a tax cut as a result of our recovery plan. Now, there are those who say these plans are too ambitious. We should be trying to do less, not more. Obama's trying to do too much, they say. Just focus on Wall Street, focus on the banks. Well, I say our challenges are too large to ignore. The cost of health care is too high to ignore. The dependence on oil is too dangerous to ignore. Our education deficit is too wide to ignore. To kick these problems down the road for another 4 years or 8 years, that'd be to continue the same irresponsibility that got us to this point. I didn't run for president to pass on our problems to the next generation. I ran for president to solve these problems. Saying, no, one problem at a time, our problem. I understand the thinking behind that, and it's true, we've got to solve this banking crisis. There's no doubt about it. Not because I'm that concerned about the bankers, but because I'm concerned about you. And we've got to get liquidity and credit flowing again to small businesses, to people who want to buy a car, who want to refinance a home. So I understand they're thinking about solving that problem, but you know, I've said before, when you're president, you've got to walk and chew gum at the same time. It'd be nice if I could just pick and choose what problems to face, when to face them. Say, no, I'm sorry, hold off on health care. Afghanistan, let's put that aside for a while. You know, I would sleep a little easier, but that's not the way it works. It doesn't work that way for you. It doesn't work that way for you. You don't get to choose between paying your mortgage bills or your medical bills. You don't get to choose between paying your kids' tuition and saving it up for retirement. You don't get to say, well, I'm sorry, hold on a second. I really got to take on some issues at home here, so I don't think I'm going to go to work for a week. It'd be nice to do, but you don't do that. You need to take all these problems on. And you need a government that's going to help you on all these problems. And that's what this debate on the budget is all about whether we are willing to do what needs to be done, not only to get our economy moving right now, but to put it on the road to lasting shared prosperity. It can be easy to lose sight of this. It's easy for pundits to get on TV and put their ratings ahead of their own sense of responsibility and try to oversimplify what's at stake. It can be difficult to break free from the partisanship that's held sway in Washington for so many years. That's what we have to do. That's what this moment requires. For all of you know deep down, and what folks in Washington sometimes forget, in the end, a budget is not merely numbers on a page or a laundry list of programs. It's about your lives, it's about your families, it's about your dreams for the future. You did not send us to Washington to stand in the way of your aspirations. You didn't send us there to say no to change. You sent us there to get things done and bring about